guys!
Welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we'll be talking about the New Brunswick Provincial Nominee Program, specifically the skilled worker class.
If you're someone who has international work experience or who has studied in New Brunswick, then this video is for you. If you have seen some of the previous videos, you know that we usually cover what the program is, what are the eligibility criteria, how can you apply for the program, what are the costs and the processing times for the program. And so you will find the same in this video.
Make sure to stay till the end of the video to know what are some of the preferred NOC codes as per New Brunswick.
In the meanwhile, please make sure to subscribe to the channel so that you will know when we make new videos, and also smash the like button so that we will know you're enjoying our videos and we can continue to create more such content.
Now without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Before we get into the details and the eligibility criteria, let us first see what a New Brunswick Provincial Nominee Program is. So this program is specifically designed for skilled workers to be able to immigrate to Canada and fill the job shortage in the New Brunswick province. Now, if you guys want to know where the New Brunswick province is, check out. It's an Atlantic province and it's said to be supposedly one of the most beautiful provinces in the Atlantic area. And I have a few friends there who have actually raved about it. I'm yet to visit it, hoping to be there soon. If you're a skilled worker and you think you have the required skills and experience to be able to fill the job shortage in New Brunswick, or if you are an international student who recently graduated from a university in New Brunswick, then this is your golden ticket to get your permanent residence. Now, just like other immigration program, this also has its own set of eligibility criteria. But in addition to that, you have to get a minimum of 60 points in the selection factors, which are tied to some of these eligibility criteria. Now, let us see in detail what are these eligibility criteria are and what pointers you might need for them.
So guys, the first eligibility criteria is your intention to stay in New Brunswick. You will have to prove to the government of New Brunswick that if you were to receive permanent residence through this program, you plan to reside in the province of New Brunswick. Now, there are various ways in which you can demonstrate this to the provincial government. Some of the ways include, let's say if you have family ties in New Brunswick, let's say if you've studied in New Brunswick, your employer is based out of New Brunswick, or several other ways. If you want to know a detailed list of all the ways in which you can show these ties, you can look at the screen right here and you can pause just to make sure you go through the whole list. Now this is fair considering that the government is going to give you permanent residence, that they expect you to stay in the province. Now let's move on to the next one. Criteria number 2 is work experience. You will need to prove to the government of New Brunswick that you have at least 1 year of continuous work experience over the last 5 years. Now this is equal to around 1560 hours a year, which is 30 hours a week, continuously for the whole year. The other main thing that you should note is that you should be also able to prove to the government that the tier code of your previous skilled work experience either matches or is higher than the tier code for the job category that you're planning to apply and come to New Brunswick. You will have to prove to the government that about your job responsibilities, as well as the position that you worked in the previous work experience through a work employment letter. And so you have to make sure that you put all of these responsibilities together and let the government know that you indeed meet this criteria.
Criteria 3 and 4 are around employment and wages. You have to make sure that you have an employment with a New Brunswick employer, an eligible employer in an eligible occupation. Now make sure that this job is full-time, permanent. It should not have any conditions and it should not be seasonal. Also guys, it's highly important to remember that the job offer must be at least for 30 hours per week or more. And with respect to wages, the salary has to be competitive to anyone else working the same position, considering the same amount of experience that you might have. Make sure to remember that overtime, bonuses, or any commission is not a part of the salary that you will be furnishing to the New Brunswick government. So that will not be considered as a part of your salary. So make sure that your salary is competitive, excluding these factors. The next criteria is employer support. Now, to be eligible for this program, you and your employer must sign an employer information form, which has to be submitted along with your application in order to be eligible for this program. Now, the final criteria is you must be PR ready. Now, what do I mean by that? You must have met all the eligibility criteria for the New Brunswick program that we discussed in this video. In addition to that, you must also meet the federal express entry class, either the CEC or FSW. If you want to know what the different express entry classes are, make sure to check the video right here. So you must meet the eligibility criteria in that as well. So once you have met both the eligibility criteria, and then your application could be processed in a much shorter span of time.
Now that you guys have understood the eligibility criteria, let's look at what the selection factors are. Now, just like we noted yesterday, you guys need to get at least 60 points out of a total of available 100 points to be able to qualify under this provincial nominee program. Let's start with the first selection factor. The first one is age. Now, you will get points toward the selection factors if your age is between 19 and 55. Now, this is categorized into two sections. If your age is between 19 to 21, then you will get 8 points. If your age is between 22 to 55, then you will get 10 points. Now, something for you guys to know is that the age will be calculated on the day you get your invitation to apply to the provincial nominee program. It does not count on the day when you register and create a profile for yourself. So something you should be aware of when you're applying to this program. So next selection factor is your language requirements. Now guys, for you to be able to get any points through the language requirement, you need to have at least a Canadian language benchmark score of 4 or beyond. Now again, the minimum score that you can get through this is 16 points if you only meet CLB4, and you can get a maximum of up to 24 points when your CLB is around 7 or more. Now as you guys know from some of our other videos, you could take the IELTS, the CELPIP, or if you're taking the English exams, or you could take the TEF or TCF if you're taking the French exam. Now you can score more points if you decide to take both the English test and the French test as a secondary language. You can get an additional 4 points on top of the 24 points. So something that for you guys to know. And finally, you should know that these test scores are valid for the course of 2 years. So make sure that when you're applying to the program and you get an ITA, these scores are still valid. If you guys want to know the detailed breakdown of the points for the various CLB benchmarks, then you can look at the screen right here.
The next selection factor is education. In order to be eligible for this program, you must have at least a Canadian high school diploma, or if you're somebody who studied outside of Canada, then make sure to get your credentials evaluated through WES or IQUAS. Now the minimum points you can get here is 15 if you're somebody with a high school diploma, and the maximum you can get is 20 points if you're somebody with a PhD degree. Now, if you want to know the detailed breakdown of these points, please make sure to look at the screen right now. The next selection criteria is work experience. Make sure that you guys have, at least 5 years of work experience or more if you need 20 points. Now, guys, remember, this work has to be paid job, so no volunteer, co-op or internships are part of this selection factor. And also guys, if you're somebody who studied in New Brunswick, then you're voided from any of this. You don't have to need any of this work experience to be shown. To know a detailed breakdown of this, take a look at the screen right now.
Guys, the next selection factor is called priority sectors. If you remember earlier in the video, we said that this program is created by the provincial government to fill job shortages that they are not able to fill with local Canadians. So the government has identified specific job sectors that they want to fill. Some of these sectors include healthcare, education, skilled trades like carpentry or plumbing, forestry, and IT sector. So if you're able to find a job with an employer in New Brunswick in any of these sectors, then you will be awarded with 10 extra points. So definitely something that you should be looking out for.
Guys, one great advantage of this program is that you get points for having an existing connection or a previous connection to New Brunswick. Now, this connection can be established by having a previous education or work experience, or if your spouse has worked in the province or is living in the province for over a year, and if you have a brother or sister studying in the province, then this can get you up to 12 points. This definitely adds up, to your total points and can be very helpful if you have, or if you're able to establish a relationship to the province. Now, to see what are some of these relationships, just take a look at the screen right now. Now that we've listed all these selection factors, make sure to remember that, you have to get a minimum of at least 60 points out of 100. Now, you have to remember this, that just because you get 60 points doesn't mean that you will be nominated. It just increases your chances if you get 60 points or more. We always highly recommend that you get as many points as possible in order to get your foot through the door.
So guys, now that you've understood what the various eligibility criteria are and the selection factors are, let me walk you through the various steps on how you apply for this program. Step 1 involves you finding a job with an eligible employer in the New Brunswick province. Step 2 is you being PR ready. So as Priya mentioned earlier, you need to make sure you've gathered all the documentation and meet all the eligibility criteria for both the provincial program as well as the federal express entry program. Step 3 is you have to create a profile with the New Brunswick provincial government. Now for your convenience, I have listed the link to the provincial government nominee program in the description box below, so do check it out. Step 4 is accepting the invitation to apply for the program. Now if you have passed all the selection factors and if your jobs is in one of the tier categories that the province has chosen to provide an invitation, then congratulations to you. Now you need to make sure that you gather all the documentation necessary to be able to apply towards the process. Step 5 is submitting your application. So please make sure that you go through all the individual document checklist. If you're not sure what documents to place, we've also made it convenient for you by putting a link in the description box below of the various documentations you would need for the various criteria. Step 6 is accepting the nomination from the program. So if you have met all the criteria and if your documents pass the checks from the province, then you will receive a nomination, and with this you will be able to get 600 extra points to apply towards the Express Entry program. Step 7 is actually applying to the Federal Express Entry program and you submitting all of these documentations along with the nomination to qualify under the program. And step 8 is getting your final result from the Federal Express Entry, where you will get to know if you've gotten your permanent residence or not.
So guys, now that we've seen the application steps, let's take a look at the processing fee. This program charges you a non-refundable 250 Canadian dollars for this application. Now, this is just the initial fees. You might also have to incur other fees like IELTS, your getting your evaluation, so on and so forth. Now, to know the total fees, take a look at the screen right now. Now, moving on, we've had a lot of you reach out to us and asked us about the processing time for some of these various immigration programs. So guys, let me be frank, this processing time is gonna vary. However, a particular way through which your application might be prioritized under the New Brunswick program. So if you're a Francophone applicant or a New Brunswick graduate, then there's a priority that will be given to you. In addition to that, if your job is in any of the NOC categories that you see on the screen right now, then again, your application has a chance of being prioritized. Now, if you do not belong to any of these NOC categories, or if you do not have a New Brunswick education or anything like that, then your application is going to depend on the documentations that you've submitted, a number of applicants in the pool, so on and so forth. So it's really going to be difficult for us to predict. So guys, now that we've come to the end of the video, we hope that we've given you all the information that you might need if you're looking to immigrate to New Brunswick as a permanent resident.
Now, I'll be honest with you guys, while researching for this program, the information that was provided in the booklet was not as clear or as straightforward that we've made it in this video. So we hope you find it really informative. Now, if you have found it informative, please smash the like button so that we will know that you like this content. But also make sure to subscribe and share this content so that you will be notified when we post more videos like this and help you seamlessly transition your life to Canada.
We are sure that you might have further questions. If you do, please make sure to let us know in the comment section below and we would love to answer them for you.
So until our next video, guys.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.